welcome back. Just wanted to do a quick video on, I guess, something that I haven't talked about, and I've been meaning to do a special video on this. In some of my previous videos, I've actually referenced this person, who I call the KIDD. He was a very young inmate who was there, and if you've checked out Laughing with Lucky's channel, I'm gonna put a card up there just so you can get a link if you do not know Lucky's channel. A lot of what Lucky talks about in terms of how guys kind of communicate and approach each other, pretty much my experience with the KIDD matched every one of this. And before I had, seen Lucky's channel, I didn't know what kites were. And so when I finally kind of heard the terminology, and then I kind of found out that was what this KIDD kind of did to me, I realized that, this is pretty much such childish behavior that goes on for guys that are looking for basically gay guys for sex. And this kid was, I think when I met him, he had just turned 18, and he was in the juvenile system prior to that, and they transferred him to adult jail when he turned 18, and he stuck out like a sore thumb amongst most of the other inmates, largely because he was just basically this kind of white, lanky framed kid. He had no real social skills, to be honest. I mean, that's really because he's still a child, a teenager in his own mind. He's being housed with adults, but this is still a child we're talking about here. And my experience of dealing with him was that he was very friendly in approaching me, which I automatically set up red flags for me, because I already know that people who try to be friendly with you before they even know you should send up some red flags. So I approached him rather cautiously, and I think part of what could have been that people would look at us and say, well, these are the younger guys, they look, like they would be they would hang out together. And I guess I would be kind of okay with that characterization, but in general, I myself, I know I'm gay. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, this is a person who I'm talking to is maybe gay or not, or bisexual, or it's a straight guy looking for something. I didn't really care about that. That wasn't really my business. But, one thing he did, which really, I think, just got everybody really not comfortable, was that I think this was my second night in the unit, and I slept on the top bunk, so being on the top bunk, and being that, I was adjusting the sleeping schedule, and I actually did pretty well. I could actually fall asleep at about lights out, and I didn't stay up late while I was in there, so I would end up falling asleep, and I guess I don't notice much beyond, if you fall asleep at midnight, you wake up for chow at 6 o'clock, 6:30. So it's not really a long amount of time for you to sleep through. If you're the type who wants like 8+ hours, forget about it. You really get your sleep in much smaller chunks when you're in jail. So one thing I did notice while I was asleep was that apparently there was a note that was placed under my pillow, and I had not realized that. And I guess some of the guys that are near my bunk, they found the note. I don't know if it was on the floor or they picked it out from under my pillow, but it was supposedly this little kind of, as Lucky would call it, a kite, that was written to me, saying that, hey, I would really like to get to know you because I think I'm bisexual, ... It was written in such a way that, for one thing, if he wasn't going to get made fun of for writing this note, I definitely got made fun of for being the recipient of the note. And everybody thought it was kind of like a puppy love thing going on, and I didn't really want to deal with it because I was like, I'm not interested at all. And it was funny in the sense that just this person who barely knew me already was expressing interest, and I'm just like, no. Considering the fact that in the normal outside world, I would not be dealing with a person like this. In jail, I definitely would not, because he had these tendencies to draw a lot of attention to himself, that I'll talk about later, but it's just not what you want your other bunkmates or people in your unit to know, that you're either kind of like rocking the cradle type of thing, or just having newbies who know nothing about life try to approach you, and I wasn't up for that. So I shot him down pretty politely as I could. And I told him that I wasn't here to make friends. I wasn't here to make relationships. My only goal was to get out, to be bailed out of jail, and go home and see my family. And I made it very clear. So he did, kind of just his everyday behavior that he did, that then kind of kept poking at me in terms of like him trying to show me that he's interested. He did these things like he would actually literally go at his bunk. He would take off his shirt, wrap a towel around his waist, and then take off his like pants or sweatpants underneath. And so like it's basically like he's almost looks like he's naked with the towel wrapped around his waist, but he has his underwear underneath the towel, right? He proceeds to then walk all the way down, across the bunks. Like, there are 2 rows of bunks, of like two, like each row has like 40 bunks. He will walk right down the middle of that bunk, like parading himself, like kind of really like not dressed at all. And I was like, no, you don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. That's just like that poor etiquette, and beyond the fact that you're kind of showing off your meat, like you're bound to get some bad attention out of that. So, and he would do that. I think he knew that what he was doing was probably not good, but he did that like every day. That when he went to the shower, and people would look. People would look, and of course they would point and make fun of him, but they would still look. I also had this other incident with this kid where he actually had, I had went to the shower and I was showering, and for some reason he ended up was also using the bath and the toilets. And in my previous video I talked about how the toilets and the showers are directly opposite each other. So as soon as I got into the shower and I was like in there, I turned around and I could clearly see him through the kind of the edges of the curtain, that he was sitting there right in front of my shower, taking a dump. And it was basically, to me, I'm like, there's so many other toilets that you could have used. And because I think I was at the time the only one showering, so I don't know why you decide you need to sit yourself in front of, on that toilet in front of my stall. So I thought it was ridiculous. And that it all kind of came to a head basically when I think it was like either the next night, where he basically then said, I know about your case, I think you're not telling us or him or us, everything. And so he wanted to basically wanted to rat me out to the rest of the group, and essentially extort me and blackmail me for sex. Essentially, that was what he did. I didn't reply to him at that moment. I just gave him this look like I was gonna basically kill him. That I was gonna, if you didn't get away from my bunk right now, I am seriously gonna have it out with you. Because he was essentially trying to blackmail me. Because I wasn't willingly kind of wanted to start something with him, a relationship or whatever. So he kind of decided that he was gonna blackmail me, and I was not up for that. And then he came back to me like a couple of days later and said, are we cool? And I said, no. I said, you try to use information against me. You're trying to, that's not okay. And I want to let you know you're on the lowest of priorities for me. My family and getting back to my family is the most important thing. I don't want to deal with any type of bullshit that you have. And I put him in his place, and for the most part, I think I got a little bit of respect from him, but not that it mattered for me, because I don't have respect for people who blackmail someone else. And I pretty much, made it clear that with him, I would never start anything. It's just not going to happen. And as soon as I made that clear, he then started on his next conquest, which was a trans inmate who had come in. And so he did the same puppy dog routine, going up with her, and I'm just with the other older guys, and we're just looking at this. This is like ridiculous that this kid just keeps on going, and it's just, it's such a bad setup for everybody, because you have this kid who doesn't know much about the world now learning that the only way he can make friends or be in a relationship is by like kind of a shark method. Either you go aggressive and take a bite, or you try to like extort people. That it's just not the way. So I have more stories about the kid, because actually, what happened afterwards, after I got released, and in talking with another person I knew, I actually got in contact with this guy, this kid, who's not a kid anymore. He's grown up a little bit, not by much, but I'll share more stories. But just to give you an idea that sometimes the relationships you don't even want to happen become the story, and all you can do is just kind of be that spectator or that bystander while the car crash just happens. So if you're interested in hearing more stories of being gay and in jail, definitely click subscribe. Also like this video. Leave me some comments. I'm sure this story probably brought up a lot of questions. If it's something that I can actually explain in a future video, that's something I'm definitely open to. So hope to hear from you guys soon, and watch more of my videos. Thank you.